And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. Also, a live stream for my live streams generally. So that's another thing. So I'm just waiting for Ron to pop in. So what I was going to do here is I'm just going to take a look at some of your comments as they're coming into the chat, as well as to talk a little bit about Philadelphia Area Game Expo and my experience with the expo from last year, and then what my schedule is looking like for this upcoming January. So the expo is just 2 months away, exactly 2 months away. So it will be on January 16th through the 19th. Hopefully, I get through the entire thing. Hopefully, the weather holds out, and I will be able to stay for the entire 3 full days of gaming. And last year, unfortunately, we got hit with a snowstorm, and I needed to leave on Saturday rather than Sunday. And so I only experienced Friday evening and then Saturday throughout most of the day on Saturday. And then I departed prior to Sunday's festivities and such. So, hey, Roger, how's it going? And yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. I will go over some of the things that I will be doing while I'm there, and I'm certainly looking forward to running into both old friends and new other convention goers. We seem to have a small group of people, or I certainly do have a small group of people that I encounter in the conventions that I go to in my general region. So, and you are going to be one of them, Roger. I'm going to see you here at Page before we actually go to your Central New York RPG Con in June. So, really excited about that as well. And already looking forward to packing out the remainder of my year in conventions. I have my list going so far that I will be attending 5 conventions, and that begins 2025 with Page 2. Then I will be at Rising Phoenix in that'll be in April. I've already booked my hotel and submitted my games for that. Then I will be at I'm not quite sure when AutoCon, which is a very local convention for me. It's in my hometown, a very small one as well, but growing. So I don't know if that's going to be before Central New York RPG Con or not. But then I'll be at yours as well. And then finishing out what I consider to be my annual schedule in September with ShireCon, which haven't started setting up for that just yet. So I am going to, and if anybody wants to join in the conversation, I'll let you hit the chat first, and then once Ron gets here, then we'll see once he does his whole thing, lets us know how the convention is going forward, and any surprises or anything like that we could be looking forward to. and then I'll let you actually join in as well. So now I know that Ron has stated that he's going to be at your convention, Roger. So that'll be really cool to see. So get to run into him, possibly as a player, or he'll be running games there, and that'll be really cool to do as well. So I am going to share screen here, and just keep an eye out for Ron. Let me just hit refresh on Facebook and um, see what's going on. Nothing yet. So I am going to share screen and bring up this one first. So here you have this is the page on tabletop events, and it is January 16th through the 19th, 2025, the Greater Philadelphia Convention Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. It's technically Philadelphia, and there are still tickets available. Let's see if I hit buy badges. Let's see how many are still available. I don't know if they do that or not, but you can still buy. I guess, weekend passes. I'm not sure if. Yeah, you should be able to buy the weekend gold passes. I don't know if those are all out or not. And you can buy those. I think are sold out, but if you haven't done so, definitely try to jump in on that, because that'll include Thursday night as well for you. And then the Friday to Sunday badges are here, and I'm sure those are still available. And then daily passes as well. And then online. So there's online access, because there are some games being done that are exclusively online as well. So we have that. I will now switch over to another view. So if you wanted to attend and you're looking for event schedules, this is something I wanted to point out, is just the variety of game systems that are going to be here. And so you can see on this, on all types of events, all days, and all starting times. Let's see if I can expand the number of, there's 482 time slots being filled here. All right, so 482 game sessions logged in here. So that's an incredible amount of gaming going on. And when you go through types, I mean, I'll just run through the first couple of pages here. We have Battletech, we have Shadowrun, we have Castles and Crusades, we have Cave Master, which I've never heard of before. Cha Hero for a Day, never heard of that. We do have 5e. We have a couple 5es here. We have AD&D First Edition. There is D&D Beckme, Shadow Dark, AD&D Second Edition, some more Beckme, Villains and Vigilantes, a miniatures event, Warhammer 40K, a board game event for camel racing. Going on through, we have another. There's a second session of that. Alternity Original Rules. We have OD&D back to 1974 with Frank Mentzer. More BattleTech, more Castles and Crusades. We have Citadels, which is a card game. We have Crown and Skull, Into the North Holds. We have Flaming Rock. Oh, so this is Bunnies and Burrows. We have Inbound Casino Heist. We have another AD&D First Edition game going on here. Then we have Shadowrun again, DCC, some more 5e, Castles and Crusades, Pathfinder Society. So we have a number of slots for Pathfinder Society. We have Amazing Adventures, which is also from Troll Lord Games. More Shadow Dark, more Cave Master, Gamma World. That's a new one here, and we will go to. So we're like way up through. There's like 10 or more pages here. Just a whole slew of different things. Earthwild. Um, Not sure what that is. Probably a new game out there. So there's quite a bit here, and let's see if Ron is about to come in. No. Um, so I will double check on Ron and see what's going on there. So anyway, I will return back to. Let's stop sharing. So again, there's so much going on at Page that I really do encourage you, if you can make it out there. I certainly encourage you to get out there and to check it out. It was a phenomenal experience last year. Shocking how big it was for its very first time. That was its first. Ron's first putting something, I guess, at that level, and that size together, and it was several hundred. I believe some people have said it was as much as like 5 or possibly even 600, and I know from a posting recently that it had over 700 badge cells already. So it's definitely larger this year, and the list of special guests is huge. So, and I will switch over and start talking about the special guests that are there, and see. So here is our list of special guests, and I will share this now. So here you have the listing of special guests, and I'll make sure that you're seeing it. So obviously, Frank Metzner, we'll have Heather Ashcraft, David Zeb Cook. I'm actually playing in his. I'm playing in one of his games. I want to say it's Oriental Adventures, so I'm playing in his Oriental Adventures game. There is Professor Dungeon Master will be there. I know he's running a couple seminars, and I believe one or two game sessions as well. We have Richard Baker. We have Anna Meyer, Bill Slavishek. If I mispronounce things, I apologize. Dale Donovan. We have Ed Stark, Bob Watts, Harold Johnson. Now, you're going to recognize a lot of these people from, at least by name, certainly, as TSR alumni. Jeff D., Stephen Chenault from Troll Lord Games, Scott Douglas, Matt Ballant, Justin Alexander, Kristen and Dan Stacy, Ben Barsh, Alex Kammer, Heidi Gygax Garland, Jennifer Prolks Glazer, Manda, of Joseph Block, the Greyhawk Grognard. We have John McGuire, Ben Milton, Questing Beast, Bob Worldbuilder, Stephen Glicker, Eric Tenkar, Brandon Gillum, Runehammer, all kinds of different aliases that he utilizes. We have Mike Shea, a Sly Flourish, Jay Scott. We have Nerdarchist Ted. I'm playing in one of his game sessions. We have Nerdarchist Dave, Peter Bryant, Wesley Allen, myself, Kitty Monk, Grace World Destroyer, which I believe is Bob Worldbuilder's wife, Chuck Cumbo from Troll Lord Games, playing in one of his games, Chris Williams, Donald J. Bingle, sorry, Jason Elliott. He did. Oh my gosh, just lost my train of thought. So he did Top Secret. Sorry, Top Secret New World Order. Bill Barsh, Brian Berg, author Ben Riggs, David Johnson, James Panarella, Randy Price, Mike Schlee. Let me just double check if he's here. Nope, still not. Wesley Allen listed twice. Ronan Wong, Zach Glazer, Chet Minton, Baron DeRop, Levi Combs, Reverend Derek White, Blake DeRusha, Mike Nistel, Lisa Ann Lake, Brian Shutter, Kevin Burrup, Sol Blair, and that's it for the list of special guests. So again, really exciting lineup. There are quite a few people there that I'm either playing in their games or I certainly want to track them down for their autographs. So I'm really looking forward to it. And we will move on to my schedule. I'll talk about my schedule next. And let me just double check. Here we go. Oh, all right. So I just got a message from Ron that he is stuck in a meeting. So I'll keep on rolling with this, and I'll let him know that. Okay, I'm just sending him a real quick message that anytime he can chime in, or we can always reschedule too. It's 2 months to go, so if anybody does want to join in, I will. If you want to talk about conventions you are attending, I will throw that up there as well. So Roger, you're certainly welcome to jump in and talk about your convention as well. And if Scott Legault for Rising Phoenix, if you're happy to be watching along, you can certainly jump in as well and talk. Even though I'm planning on interviewing Scott on Sunday, although I did have I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I had a little family, an elderly family member has passed away on my wife's side, and so I don't know what that's going to do with my Sunday schedule. But that is scheduled for an interview at 8:30 p.m. on Sunday. So again, I don't know. It's kind of up in the air whether or not that'll happen. I'll reach out to Scott and let him know by Sunday morning if, in fact, we're going to have to postpone that. So, getting back to this again, anyone is welcome to jump in and hit it. I will also go to Facebook because I have to not Facebook to YouTube. I have to give away five memberships, which I'll be doing during the course of this as well. Yeah, Roger's going to jump in a few minutes. Great. So yeah, that'll be great, Roger. And let's see, I'll go over my schedule now. So let's share. So my schedule. All right, so here we have my schedule, and I am starting off Thursday evening at 8 p.m. The Slumbering City, which is a shadow dark adventure written by Tom Wilson, who is the organizer of ShireCon that runs in September. So this will probably be the last time I'm running this particular adventure of his because he has so many other ones coming out, and I'm also writing adventures on my own for Shadow Dark, and so I will start integrating other game systems as well into my schedule. So I'm starting off Thursday night with The Slumbering City. It's an incredible adventure, and it's already booked. All right, so the ticket sales for that are already booked. Then I'm going into Friday morning at 9 a.m. is Sunblind, an Oriental Adventures game run by Zeb Cook. Then A War in the Valley, which is Shadow Dark, also written by Tom Wilson. So this was his newest adventure that he had written, and I picked that up, and I've run it a few times with my own group at home, and now I just want to run it here at page two until until I find a good replacement for the next convention I attend to. Then Whiskey Creek Runs Red is my own Gangbusters BX adventure. This is the last time that I will be running this at conventions. I've run this now for going on like the last 3 years. I've run it at least 6 times in the last 3 years. And this one still has plenty of tickets available for it. So if you are there and you're free on at Friday at 8 p.m. Certainly pop in and have a seat at the table. Then on Saturday morning, I'll be playing Castles and Crusades, Journey to White Plume Mountain, and I believe this one is run by Chuck Cumbo from Troll Lord Games. Then Zoo Mafia, and this one is being run by Nerdarchist Ted. Then I have two seminars. One is Troll Lord Games, and the other is Ask Frank Metzner Anything, which I'm certainly going to touch bases with him and hopefully have another great conversation like I did last January with him. He's an incredible just source of so much information. It's unbelievable. And really the high point of uh, my convention experience last year at page one. Then Shards of Ymir, which is a Shadow Dark adventure that I have written myself. I reformatted it for Shadow Dark, and I actually have a very different way of running this particular adventure. So it's very visually appealing. Um, so next up is my last event, which is Sunday morning, and I will depart right after this, is High Seas, a Kickstarter demo. So really excited about taking a look at this. And as you can see, I have a full schedule here, and really the only opening I do have is for my Gangbusters game, which still has 6 seats available. All six. So I'm sure that will fill in as we get closer and closer. So I will stop sharing there, and I am going to jump in and do that giveaway. So I have to go here, and I may. I'm hoping that it does not come in with volume. So There we go. I had to mute it there. So I am going to give away 5 memberships. And so there we go with the 5 memberships that are going out. And let's see. It's a secret to everyone. Chen Sun Chu, I guess is how you pronounce it. Sorry about that. Um, Dark Morrison, Robert Martineau, and Dice Tales. All right. So all 5 of you have received a free membership. That's a 1 month membership. And if you choose to stay on beyond that, it'd be much appreciated and really helps the channel continue to grow. So moving on, let's get back to my chats and see. So overall, I mean, like I said earlier, I was so impressed with page one. I mean, it was seamless. The location, the hotel was great. The location of the event is literally a 1 minute drive from the hotel to the convention center itself. The venue was huge, more than enough space to accommodate not just probably like 40 gaming tables, but also a whole back area that was for all of the various vendors. And I mean the vendors. I don't know if he has the map on the on this here. Let's see vendors, available booths. Uh, No, that's someplace else, probably on his Facebook page, but there's a huge list of vendors as well. Um, let's see, available booths. Here we go. Well, I'm looking for the venue, exhibitors and sponsors. Maybe that's where the list will be. No, that's not where it is. So anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, just trying to find out the list of vendors. I'm not finding that right off the bat. Um, let's see if I can find it. Exhibit, sponsor, host, attend, my schedule, merchandise, game library, venue, exhibitors and sponsors. This wasn't listed here for some reason. It's not here on. Oh, there it goes. Finally, it took a while for it to pop up. All right, I can share this screen with you so you can see this now. So that took a while. All right, so here we go. Exhibitor. So we have 13th Warlock Art and Publishing. We have 321 Action Games. We have Aether Artificers. We have Arcania's Workshop. We have Black Oak Workshop, which is both a sponsor and an exhibitor. We have BRW Games, which is an exhibitor. We have Button Shy Games. We have Sharper Edge, exhibitor. Chet Minton, artist, exhibitor. Crafty Dork Designs, Critical Hit Cookies, which is a sponsor. Diabolical Terrain, exhibitor. Dice Goblin by Lancaster Wax Company, exhibitor. East Coast Gaming Expo, a sponsor. Erie Games, an exhibitor. Fox and Boar Games, both a sponsor and an exhibitor. Frog God Games, Necromancer Games, an exhibitor. Game Night, exhibitor. Gaxland, sponsor and exhibitor. Goodman Games, an exhibitor. Eris Gaming, JM DeSantis exhibitor, June Solar Games, an exhibitor, Lair Games, Legendary Pans, Mancrafting by Snoop GR2, an exhibitor, Monstrider TCG, that's a card game, I guess. Mr. E Games World, Nerds Who Drink, a sponsor. One Day West Games, Rebirth Games, Paysetter Games and Simulations, Petro Gaming Group, Quest Trays, Ron's Chainmail and Vintage Gaming. Ron D. All right, let's see. I got a message. Okay. Yeah, Ron won't be able to make it. So so I will continue going through the exhibitions here, the exhibitors and sponsors. I think I left off with Rondi Productions, RPG Market, Runehammer Games, Savage Dragon Games, uh, Severed Books, Sneaky Burrito, an exhibitor, Solar Forge Miniatures, Solarian Games, Super Savage Systems, the Consortium, the Dragon's Vault of New Jersey, the Garment Goddess, Thunderstruck Workshop, Trollord Games, Two Wizards Workshop, and Wolf House Imaginarium. All right, so there you have all of your all of the vendors and sponsors and whatnot for page 2 as well. So again, super exciting. Unfortunately, Ron won't be able to make it. He got stuck in a meeting. But again, if anyone wants to join in the chat and talk about some of your upcoming conventions, whether you're running them or you're attending them, please feel free to jump in. I will put the invite out there once again, and we will continue on talking about gaming coming up and conventions. So what I typically do is once I'm about 2 months out, I start going over the games that I'm looking to run, and just taking a look at what the handouts are going to be, tweaking the pre-gen characters, tweaking the adventures sometimes to just make sure that it's going to be ready to roll. Then I break out my folding table and I start laying it out on the table and just start trying to visualize, how am I going to present this game? How am I going to, what it kind of looks like it's going to happen around the table. Do I have enough space? Do I have enough, handouts? Is there any other way that I can enhance what it looks like at the table as well? So that's something that I really do believe that the purpose, or one of the purposes of running a game a session at a convention, is to showcase the game that you're running, as well as put yourself out there to meet new people and to have them attend your game session, and hopefully it's a positive experience for everybody, and then word of mouth and such is why people will come back to your table specifically, and that's certainly been my experience over these last couple of years. So, being a convention game master is something that I've really been trying to focus on these last couple of years now, and just trying to keep on leveling up my game, and getting it to the point where it's something that players coming in, to my table are really excited about sitting specifically at my table. And the other thing I like to do at conventions is I like to run a lot of different systems. Although I'm very heavy on Shadow Dark this year, um, it's a that's just because the other games that I have coming on later on in 2025 are the game systems that I didn't quite have in 2024. So, earlier on this year, so I wasn't able to start writing those adventures and getting them ready. But It's not at Page, but at Rising Phoenix. That's where I'm mixing it up a little bit, and I'm up to 3 different game systems there. I will be running at Rising Phoenix. I'll be running um, Shadow Dark, my own adventure, Fallout, my own adventure, and Deadlands, my own adventure. So I will be running 3 of my own written adventures at that convention, and that's in April, which means that probably in January I will start out, planning out how those games are going to run, and although I kind of have the framework for the Deadlands adventure already written, and I have the Shadow Dark that I'm running that's already written. It's the Fallout I'm kind of tweaking and testing right now. So yeah, when you're looking to run adventures or game sessions at conventions, it certainly does take a good amount of time to put that together. You really should spend that time getting everything together. So I am going to let Roger in here. Uh, hey, Roger, how's it going?
Hey, good. How you doing?
Let me give you equal equal space on the
No, that's
screen
fine.
there. Um, so good to see you. Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, just really stoked about this upcoming what I consider a season of gameplay and conventions. So what have you been up to since we last spoke? Not too long ago, actually, but
Yeah. Well, I've just been fighting with my camera here. I don't know. I had to switch to my laptop camera, so I don't
yeah.
know what's going on with that. But
Well, you look fine. Yeah, it's clear.
thanks. I can see I got the shadow from the microphone over my face, but that's probably for the best if we hide some of my face anyway. So, no, just been hanging out, trying to get stuff done. Just what last weekend was MEPACon
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. How was that?
that was it was awesome. It was good. It's
Yeah,
small, and
yeah.
they're up to I think this was 47, and it's they kind of cheat though because they do 2 a year. So
Hmm.
um but no, it's a really great small con. They've been growing pretty slow but steady
Right.
over the last 20 years or so. Um and I don't know how many people were there. It's probably around 500 or so, maybe more.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. We had a really good time. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of vendors and stuff. It's not as big as Page.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty personal. Everybody there kind of knows
Yeah.
everybody and whatnot. So I'm sure I know you have some cons local to you that are probably similar.
Yeah. There's well, Shire Con is about half that size.
Yep.
So about like 150. Hopefully they hit around like 200 or so. Um, AutoCon, which is real local to me, is
Hmm.
that got up to 50 people last year. That's really intimate.
Nice.
That's like
Yeah.
everybody, you recognize everybody that's there. Rising Phoenix is about that size. That
Hmm.
400 or 500 size, so same size as Page was last year,
Yeah.
and for me, that's the ideal size.
Sure.
I like
Sure.
500 or less. Um, we'll see how it
Yeah.
feels like when I go to Page this year because I know that they're at least at 700. All right. And
Yeah,
so
I think
we'll
he had
see.
said I think Ron on a stream
Yeah.
something like 1250 he was expecting,
Holy
I
cow. All
think.
right. So that
So,
is that's a
yeah.
big con. For me, that's going to be a
Yeah.
big con. And we'll see how we'll see how it feels and whatnot. I know like people will talk about it. Well, like, well, I don't like big cons because when you're at the table and you have 40 other tables around you and you know, um, the sound kind of interferes.
Yeah.
Having done it for a couple of years and run games for a couple of years and everything, I can kind of block that out, you know.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And you kind of, and it really does force the players to really focus in on what everybody else is saying at the table,
Sure.
So I know it can be a challenge, but you do get used to it, you do get used to it after a while. I mean, maybe it's just been my life experiences, as a school teacher, it's like you learn to block out distractions. I,
Yeah.
I grew up on Long Island next to MacArthur Airport, and the planes used to have a flight path like right over the woods by my home. So they used to fly in like maybe 200 feet off the ground, and this could be like a 727, and it's
Yeah.
like I didn't hear it after a while. It's like just able to block out side sounds and background noise and that kind of thing is
Sure.
just something you get used to. So I don't think that much larger is going to make all that much of a difference. In comparison. I mean, there's only so many tables in the room anyway, and they'll just
Right.
spread
Right.
out and spread into different room spaces for those as well. Um, I know that Page this year, I mean, they're utilizing the hotel Thursday night for gaming. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so maybe that's and there's plenty of room to expand in that
Sure.
convention
Sure.
center if they had to pick up another whole unit. But then they're probably pushing about 3,000 attendees or more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know how big. I don't know what Ron's plans are for size. How far he wants to grow. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think the sweet spot is probably somewhere around 300 to 500 people. I think
Yeah.
is and I go to a handful of different conventions. I
Hmm.
went to Gary Con last year, and I think that was maybe 3 to 5 thousand, maybe somewhere in there. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly the number, but something like that. And even that, starts to get big,
Yeah.
um, but like I go to PAX Unplugged in
Yeah.
Philly, and that's like, I mean, that's huge. I
Yeah.
think that's something like 30,000 people or what, and that's just a madhouse, and
Yeah.
um, I go mostly for the expo hall and just to check out the vendors and see what's
Right.
there and
Right.
whatnot.
Right.
um,
Yeah.
and do some gaming, but yeah, definitely the smaller cons are definitely where it's at, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to see where Page goes, but yeah, I think
Right.
it's phenomenal now. It's great, and I'm happy to say that I'm gonna go every year now. That's
Yeah.
I went
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
This year
I'm
it's great.
certainly going to
So
try to get, now that I have five, and they're kind of paced out like every 2 months or so, or 2.5
sure,
months or so. It's like the perfect spread for me, and only three of the five are ones that I have to do an overnight kind of thing. So I'm like, all
sure,
right, that's
sure.
pretty cool too. So um I'm going to probably keep it at that. I'm probably good with
Yeah.
all of those. Like I'm sure your convention this year is going to probably push about 2,000, and then we can go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't catch on
If
that
we
right away. So
if
yeah,
if we get 2,000 people and I guess that's my ultimate goal is for the fire department to show up and tell us
mm,
that we can't have that many people in the building.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think that I'll be thrilled if that happens, right? No, I'm hoping for, I mean 500 would be fantastic. I don't even know. I don't
yeah,
think we'll hit that, obviously,
yeah,
but
yeah.
um,
Well, what's your
you know,
what's the hotels, and their convention
well,
space? What's their maximum
yeah,
capacity?
I think total for everything, I think we're somewhere around 400 to 500 people. I think is about our max.
Okay, cool.
Um, I don't remember exactly um, what the fire code or rating is for those for the
Right.
rooms for the ballroom and stuff, but
Mm.
it is somewhere around that.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm hoping, obviously, I'm hoping for like 200 to 300 people. That's
yeah,
where I think it
yeah,
would be.
yeah. You want to start off,
It would be great.
you want to start off, somewhat small, but still comfortable enough to be like, hey, you know what? This
Yeah,
is really,
yeah,
this is a good start off point for sure. And then you still have some room to grow over time
yeah,
as well. Without it becoming overwhelming. That's the biggest thing, right? Like,
yeah.
if you all of a sudden got like, oh my gosh, that's my first convention, and I got 1,000 badges sold. It's like, I'm sure that is like, oh wait, hold on, I wasn't expecting
Yeah,
that. It's good, and
right.
it's kind of like good, and it's like, oh geez, now I got to do so much more than I was
I wouldn't know
expecting.
what to do. I would have
Yeah,
no idea what to do if we sold 1,000 badges.
yeah,
That would be just. I think that I'd be, that would be more on the worse side than a good thing. That like that's just
yeah,
way too many, and there's no way I don't think I'd be able to accommodate that many people. But um,
right.
so that's how that
Yeah.
goes. But
Well,
and I
that's
don't know
why
if I'd want to.
I give you a lot of credit for, because that's one of the risks, right? Of
Sure,
trying
sure.
something new is like sometimes it could exceed your expectations to the point that you're like, oh my gosh, this is something, and it's all a learning experience too.
Yeah,
Really really
yeah.
important thing to have as well.
Yeah, and it's been great. There's been a lot of, support from the community and other people and just I got the opportunity to chat with Ron a little bit
Hmm.
online yesterday and going back and forth and just everybody that I've talked to has just been, fantastic and just wanting to help out and anything they can do and everything and the community is really great I think for that. So,
Yeah, yeah, that's
props for
another
that.
that's another. I'm glad you bring that up because I have met convention organizers at other conventions, and
Mhm.
that's how you know it all started with ShireCon, and then when I went to ShireCon, and I met Tom there, and
Mhm.
then that was the first time I met in person Scott for Rising Phoenix. Even though
Mhm.
Scott was a player of mine in my D&D campaign,
Sure.
that was the first time and he was like, hey, yeah, I'm running a convention over in Massachusetts, and
Yeah,
love to
yeah.
have you come in. And then I went there, and I started seeing the same people from ShireCon over there, like some of the vendors and
Sure.
such like that, and now, you know, went back to at Rising Phoenix. I met other people that said, hey, you
Uh-huh.
should check out this one, and then I learned about yours,
Yeah.
through Eric Tenkar, which
Mhm.
so at first from him, and he and I have run across at some of these conventions as well. So it's just something that just keeps on like snowballing,
Yeah.
especially where
Yeah.
you have this kind of like a whatever the mileage is, but let's say a 4 hour
Yeah. Yeah.
area, in any one direction, and you have all of these smaller conventions really being brought together and allows for us to make like a network of
Yeah.
conventions to cross pollinate too, because I know they're going to yours, and there's a lot of sharing
Yeah.
amongst these smaller conventions coming together. So that's a really, really positive thing to see.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's awesome, and like everybody's like happy to help out and everything, and it really makes
Yeah,
me wonder why there wasn't something bigger done, up here in years past.
yeah.
So I don't know if it's a location thing or whatever, but
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see, I
I don't
guess.
know because I knew some people try to. I mean, taking out 20 through 22 because
Sure,
obviously
sure.
nothing happened there. But going back to like 18, 2018
Hmm.
or so, I knew some people were trying to put them together. Um,
Hmm.
New York is expensive, number one.
Yeah.
Unless you go way up in the,
Yep.
way up north, or out to like the tip of Long Island. But New
Yeah.
York is expensive, and it's not as easy to travel to and from,
Yep.
unless you're just on it's a big state, So when we're
Yeah.
talking about,
Absolutely.
it could take you 6 hours to go from point to point in New
Sure.
York. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's kind of weird that the East Coast doesn't have such a big, convention, tabletop role playing convention kind of scene,
Sure.
because I mean, comic books, forget about it. You have the Javits Center in New York
Yeah.
City, and that's
Right.
60,000 people a day, going in there. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yep.
that's an absolute, you couldn't run a gaming convention that big because I don't even think Gen Con is even close to that, in size.
Yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's kind of odd that this, the Northeast really doesn't have a big tabletop role playing
Sure.
convention scene.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, maybe we'll grow it together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hopefully,
It's
right?
and I've actually thought about it. I actually had this conversation with Eric Tenkar probably about a
Hmm.
year and a half ago. I was like, yeah, why don't we try to put together a small convention? This is before yours.
Yeah.
And we're like, why don't we try to put together a small convention? And I started just looking at the different venues and everything.
Hmm.
And I don't have that kind of organizational kind of skill, of putting that together and just at the time because I think I was still working at the time too,
Sure.
so I didn't have the time to kind of piece that all together and everything. And I've just adopted the attitude of I'll let other people do all the legwork for me, and I'll just
Yeah.
attend as a game master and as a player.
Sure.
But yeah, so I thank you for taking all the risk. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great. Yeah. I don't. This might come as a surprise, but maybe it's a secret. But like, I don't know what I'm doing either. So you know, I'm just figuring this out as I go. So you know.
yeah,
Just trying to learn off of all the conventions, and you know how it is. You go to all these conventions, and every time you go to a convention, you say, "Oh, this is done really well. This was done maybe poorly. This was,
yeah,
this is a good idea. This is." And so you just try and combine all of those things together
right,
until you have something that that's yours. And I guess we're all used to doing that because we do that in gaming. It's
yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
we'll take a
You
little
know,
bit from this game and take a little bit from this, and we like this, and
yeah,
yeah. So kind of
yeah.
similar thing
Yeah,
there.
I've done the same thing in a number of different places. I mean, going into other people's classrooms. Hey, how do you deal with this
Sure.
particular kid? How do you have this kid working for you, and maybe not for me, or I've had people come to me like that. I just went to um, I had four weddings, two more to come, but I've had four weddings in like the last month.
Yeah.
And going forward another two, and a lot of the people are going to like all like three of them or all four of them or whatever.
Mhm.
And one of the weddings we have coming up, those people were at the last wedding we were at, and the mother was there with a notebook, just writing down. She was taking notes. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's how this goes. And yeah, she was definitely doing that. Just like you're saying, you're going to other
Yeah.
conventions and you're trying to learn and pick up. Again, what are they doing that's right? What did they do that could have been better? and just trying
Yeah.
to learn from that. And it's called best practices, so you're
Yeah.
looking for best practices.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I do that with DMing. Like people ask, all the because I'm the forever DM,
Hmm.
and there's sometimes I get players that ask me, how do you do this or what, how do you get started? And I tell them you just steal stuff from everybody else. If
Yeah.
you see something that I do at the table, don't say, well, I can't do that because that's his thing. It's like, I probably stole it from somebody else. So, you
Right.
might as well take it from
Yeah.
me. Like, don't be shy about that. If people are doing something right, then, by all means, copy it, do it, make it better, improve on it even, so,
Yeah.
um, we're trying to do that with the convention and stuff. And whatever Ron is doing seems to be the right thing. He's, for as far as page goes,
Yeah.
um,
Well, I think it's,
it's just
to
great.
be honest with you, it's the special guests that are bringing a
Yeah.
lot of people in.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's the fact that, many of those people, like, again, they're old school, right? And that's the other thing, that
Yeah.
it's not being, it's inclusive of everybody. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? So it's inclusive
Sure.
of all different eras of gaming. It's, you have different types of games there, so it's not overly it's not overly packed out with one game system or another.
Hmm.
And it's not just
Yeah.
tabletop role playing games, but there's some war gaming going on. There's some,
Sure.
and then this year they introduced the virtual
Yeah.
gaming as well. So yeah, he's been doing a great job, putting all of that together, and just and like we said earlier, not becoming overwhelmed by it, but just kind of reacting. He's been doing a great job with it.
Yeah.
Um, so um,
Yeah.
so,
Definitely.
and then we'll see. Like, I mean, I will. Hopefully, I will be having that the same kind of a discussion with Scott for Rising Phoenix on Sunday
Hmm.
evening. And Now Rising Phoenix has been going on for. They were pre-COVID and then after COVID, so I think they're around year four,
Okay.
or possibly five for them. ShireCon is actually like 6 years or something like that,
Oh.
but they had the 2 year like hiatus
Yep.
basically, and it was
Yep.
real small
Sure.
before that anyway.
Sure.
So yeah, a lot of these smaller conventions in our general area haven't been around all that long.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
a year or two before COVID, and then you know the three plus years after,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So they're all a good size. I mean, it's a really nice little surrounding area that we have, and I'm not including like MEPA or any of those because I haven't been to those. And then
Sure.
there's Historicon in New Jersey, I believe, but
Hmm.
that's mostly wargaming.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
predominantly wargaming. And then there's one out on Long Island that's um, I forget what that's always called. I just can't get myself out to going there, even though I was born and raised there. It's like I
Yeah.
just can't. Just the idea of driving out onto the LIE is something like, oh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, but that's another one. I mean, eventually I'll get to it. Um, but yeah, the smaller cons and now the mid-sized cons that are in our general area, they all seem to be a little bit different from one another too, which is another important thing to
Sure.
remember, is that you're going to get slightly different experience at each of them. And I've never been at the big ones like PAX or you know um,
Yeah.
what is there? There's PAX East, which is
Well, yeah. So
there's
PAX
one in
has,
Boston, right?
yeah, they have like six different PAXs now. They may have canceled some of them since COVID, but yeah, they had PAX East, which is in Boston, I believe. PAX West, which is that in Seattle, maybe?
Right.
Or PAX West, and then, but so that they've always been mostly like just gaming and video games and
Video
all
gaming mostly, right? That's
right.
what it
So
used to be. It's mostly video gaming.
but so PAX Unplugged has
Okay,
been
that's
right. That's the one that's in Philly
yeah.
in December, and that one's traditionally been obviously unplugged as
Right. Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but it's mostly board games. They do
Hmm.
have there is a lot of RPG stuff going on, but
Right.
just because of the enormity of the entire thing,
Right.
but yeah, and it's I don't know. There's some things I don't want to talk bad about a convention, but
Mm.
there's some things that they do that I'm not a big fan of the way they handle the entrances and getting into the place and whatnot, and some of their scheduling stuff is just
Wonky.
not easy. Doesn't make
Yeah.
it easy to get into some games,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, like they've got a huge vendor hall and that, like I said, that's kind of why I go,
Right.
just to see
Yeah.
what everybody's making and what board games and stuff are coming out and all of that. So
Yeah.
but like Exalted Funeral is usually there. They've got a bunch
Hmm.
of the OSR stuff and whatnot. So it's cool to
Right.
talk to those guys and all of that. So but
Yeah.
yeah, it's for me, it's a good time for that. But it is packed. That's like the only convention that I want to go to that's that size.
Yeah.
Regularly. I couldn't do that multiple times a year. So
Yeah. Maybe
yeah,
I'll check that out one time, but I would not go to run. I would just go to play or to
yeah,
look at things and everything, and
sure,
not or just make it like well, that's a tough day trip though. You know, it's like
yeah,
3 hours in or almost 4 hours in, 4 hours out.
yeah,
To maybe spend 6 hours there, you become a 14-hour day. Is a
yeah,
pretty long day. I'm getting old. I'm getting old for that kind of thing. You know,
yeah,
uh, I could do a 14-hour day if I'm sleeping over. You know, but
sure, sure,
14-hour day where 8 hours of it is driving is getting kind of rough. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
that's why I said, of my five conventions, three of them are overnighters, and that's
yeah,
perfectly fine. It's my close ones are, really close, under an hour.
yeah.
So those are easy. So,
Yeah, it's hard in
so
Philly. You end
yeah,
up if you get a hotel that's I like to stay right across the street from the convention center, and
yeah,
I pay dearly for it.
yeah, yeah.
You'll pay 3 times the cost of staying 5 miles away, but I just hate having to either Uber
Oh yeah,
back and
I
forth or
wouldn't.
drive
Yeah, I
in,
wouldn't want to have to, you know,
Yeah,
do like a 40-minute commute just to get to the
right.
convention center. That's why I like Page is literally it's not a minute
Yeah,
away. The parking lot is technically originally they said you could walk, and I was like, no, you can't walk. I'm only. I
yeah,
mean, you could if you
yeah.
weren't 57 years old
We
and
it was funny last year when we went
mm,
and we were at the hotel there
yeah.
and we got in. I don't remember. I think it was that Thursday night, and we had walked out,
Mhm.
to walk to the parking lot and like saw where the convention center was, and we're like, oh hell no,
Yeah.
we're not.
It
No,
looks
we'll drive over
closer
there.
than it actually is.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because
We
it's
started
such a big
walking, and it's like
place,
no.
and meanwhile, their venue is like on the far side
Yeah,
of it too.
right,
So it's like
right,
it's really deceptive. But
right.
by car, it's still like a minute away. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
not far at all away.
No, it's not bad.
Um,
And it's funny, like when I was planning my convention, that was like a thing for me.
yeah.
And I ended up paying, I'm paying more money to be at the hotel than I
Hmm.
was at a local college because like we were 5 miles away from the nearest hotel. And
Yeah.
so I'd rather have it like at
Yeah.
location or at a location where there's a hotel across the street, just because I like that's a pain. It's a pain for me, and
Yeah.
so I don't want my you know the
Yeah.
people that are showing up to my convention to have to find a hotel that's even 10 minutes away. I think it's too far. It's nice having it
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, no, it's very very important to be considerate about that. I mean, I've done many places. Like both my daughters were competition dancers, and we used to go to nationals and worlds and all those things, and
Yeah.
it was always, a big deal. Like you're probably more familiar with up in like Albany. All right, so they used to dance at the Egg,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
there's no hotel close to the Egg. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah.
have to schlep all the way in there, and just driving there and finding the entrance to the parking lot. That's the public entrance to that
Oh, it's
parking lot
crazy.
is
Yeah.
crazy. It's like so
Yeah.
counterintuitive. It's like you drive by us 5 different entrances and none of them are for
Yeah.
public. It's like you just don't get like how that whole setup
Yeah.
is.
And
Talk
and
about
it's
a hard place to get into.
yeah.
Um, you run a
Yeah.
gaming convention at the Egg, they won't show
Right.
up. But
Right. And the yeah, and you could see it. It looks deceptively close
yes,
because I've
and
stayed at
then you
some
have
hotels
the
out
old
there and you could
theater.
see it.
If you're familiar with it, there's the old theater where they used to dance in the old theater, and then there was a
Hmm.
hotel like 50 yards, up the
Sure.
road, and that was much more convenient. It was like, oh, who cares that the
Yeah.
Egg is nicer? This is right across. I think it was called
Yeah.
the Plaza Theater or something like that. The old Plaza Theater in
Yeah.
Albany. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's so much easier, and I don't care about spending extra to stay in the hotel
Right.
where
Hmm.
the convention is actually being
Sure.
held or whatever. So absolutely do that every time.
Sure. It's funny you mentioned that. The going down to MEPA,
Hmm.
we went 2 or 3 times. We've been going now for a few years, so it's hard to keep track because they do 2 a year. So it's hard to keep track
Yeah.
of how many times we actually went. But the first year we stayed at the hotel where it was at, I think it was last year, and it was not great. The hotel's kind of run down, and
I am.
it's got some issues, and so we were like, well, there's a Hampton or Hilton, one of the other, like right
Yeah. Yeah.
next door. So
Yeah.
we stayed there, and then so this year, same thing. This time, same
Mhm.
thing. I just booked the Hilton,
Yeah.
and we found out why. We found out they're moving MEPA to another location because they're demolishing that hotel in like three
Oh,
months.
yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that explains why
Yeah,
they
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
fixing it up.
Hotels have like a life expectancy of about 30 years,
Yeah,
and then
sure.
they're on the way out. I mean, we went to a dance convention at Trump's Taj Mahal. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And when we went there, we were like, "Oh, this is really cool. We're going to be we're actually staying at the Taj Mahal, and she's going to be dancing down in the theater down there, and
Yeah,
everything." I'm really excited. And when we got to the rooms and we got to like even the hallways, we were like, "Wow, this is really." And now this is probably like 10 years ago or more,
sure.
but we were like, wow, this is not as fancy as you would think it were,
Yeah,
and
right.
I was like, yeah, push it back 30 years, and it was
Sure,
probably the top of the line, of luxury. And 30 years later, yeah, it's run
sure,
down, so
sure.
and that's the same thing with like a lot of the Hiltons and everything too. It's like most of those are older hotels, and
Yeah,
every once in a while you
yeah,
go in there, and it'll be like, wow, I mean, this chair is chewed up. It's like, it's a
yeah,
pretty,
yeah,
can I get, or the coffee machine doesn't work or whatever. It's like, this stuff is really
yeah,
dated and everything. So, yeah, it's just something, it's part of the whole
yeah.
convention experience. Now, the one convention experience I have never experienced, and I'm knocking on wood like crazy, is I've never come home with convention crud, so
Really,
never, not
really.
once.
Wow. Yeah, I've come back from PAX a couple times and not
Mm,
like super sick, but you just get the sniffles. You get a little bit of a cold or whatever.
yeah.
Um, the last time, yeah, last year when we went down to MEPA,
Mm,
um, my buddy of mine that I went with, he got COVID. I don't know if he had it before
mm,
we went down or whatever, and so he was stuck in the room the second day, and
yeah.
he wasn't feeling great. We didn't know he had COVID. We just thought it was
Right.
something that knocked him out, and so he couldn't play in our game
Mm,
that last night. And
Yeah.
and then so I ended up playing and coming back, and he was passed out, and then we drove home, and he wasn't feeling good, and then he called me the next day and said, "Oh, I got COVID. You better test yourself." But but yeah, I've never really been like super sick. My throat's bothering me a little bit this week from but that's mostly from doing a lot of talking and yelling,
Yeah.
and when you're gaming and stuff. So
Yeah.
um I think that's mostly it. Maybe a little cold or something, but um, who knows? But yeah, it happens to me. Yeah, probably 25% of the time or so.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I guess I've been lucky,
so
or
you've been,
my conventions are small, so maybe that's that. Maybe
yeah,
that's been it too, and you know, yeah, I've just been lucky, I guess.
sure,
So
sure.
now vacations, we all came home from the Bahamas with them. We all got COVID as soon as we got home, so that
Oh boy,
was,
yeah,
we picked it up there and came home with it.
sure, sure.
But other than that, I mean, I've been fairly lucky. Again, knocking on wood, at conventions, stay away conventions. I haven't had a problem. Uh,
Yeah, cool.
so, all right. Oop, I just got a
Yeah, it's awesome.
text. I know. Let's see. Uh, yeah. No, I'm just getting a text.
Yep.
My wife's uncle passed away this morning.
Oh,
So
sorry to hear
90,
that.
92 years old.
Oh wow.
And he
Hmm.
wasn't doing well. So, but he just passed, and that's why I might have some issues with my Sunday night interview with Scott for Rising Phoenix on
Yeah,
Sunday. We'll see. Um, and they're going to try for Monday or Tuesday. Okay. All right. So I might have to reach out to my secretary and tell her that my Monday or Tuesday might be an issue. So anyway,
yeah.
uh, and actually, I'm going to probably have to cut out of here a little bit earlier because I have to run my daughter up to get her. They wanted to get a photograph made for the house, and we have to head up there
Hmm.
today, this evening. So anyway, um,
Yeah.
so hey, well, yeah, I'll wrap this up now so I can go take care of that. But thanks for,
Yeah.
coming in and helping out.
Yeah.
And for those of you that are watching, I will certainly try to schedule Ron to come in some other time, and we'll talk about the convention. Maybe we'll do it 1 month out and see where it stands. So yeah, we're exactly 2 months away. All right, so it is January 16th, so we're exactly 2 months away, and yeah, we'll wait till the 1 month spot, and have him come back on and talk about where it kind of stands. And you're certainly welcome to
Yeah.
join in as well, because I'm sure you'd like to hear what's going on. Like just
Yeah.
4 weeks away, this is what it's kind of looking like and
Yeah.
everything.
It's
And
going to be a great convention. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
if
it's gonna be phenomenal. And again, hopefully the weather holds out. That's the only thing I'm worried about, that
yeah,
convention.
I don't know. I've
I
been
think
in
everything
upstate.
else is probably going to run very smoothly. It's just,
Sure. I've been in upstate New York long enough. The weather doesn't bother me anymore. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
bring it on. I don't,
yeah.
we get a blizzard,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
whatever,
I don't mind
you
about it.
know.
It's just that, it's just that, my wife was like, I'm not getting buried. We're in a
Yeah.
valley,
Yeah.
and that day we ended up with like 12 to 15 inches of snow,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was like,
Sure.
wow, that's and it's an all day project to clear my driveway,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
it's a 120-foot driveway. It's like,
Yeah.
we're set way back from the road, and plows really can't even handle it. You got to chip away a lot of it
Sure.
before they can even mess around with it, because it's steep as hell also. So it's like an all day
Sure.
project. So it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, hopefully it's fine this year. Hopefully we have a bit of global warming, and
Oh boy.
we have a very mild, a very mild winter. That's what I always say about global warming. It's like,
Yeah.
when we have temperatures that are worth, hotter than the Bahamas, then I'll worry. I was like, but
Yeah.
bring the Bahamas here, and I'll be perfectly fine. Give me 80 degrees in the wintertime, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm good with that.
That's way
Make it
too hot for me.
110, and now I'll start worrying. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. I kind of like it at like 62, 63 degrees. That's about
yeah,
my
yeah. Well,
temperature.
there's no
So
snow at 62 or 63.
yeah, yeah,
That's almost perfect. Yeah, I'm still wearing t-shirts in 55,
yeah,
so I'm good.
yeah,
I'm good almost all year round. It's not until it
sure.
gets into the high 30s that I start feeling it. So, that's my Russian Ukrainian blood. It's like
Yeah, there you
I
go.
don't feel the cold that much. So anyway, all right, Roger. So thanks a lot for popping in. Glad to talk
Yeah,
to you and talk about your convention and everything. And I
yeah,
will be seeing you definitely in person at Page.
yeah,
Really
absolutely.
excited about that. That's going to be an awesome time.
Yeah,
And you're Gold Pass, right? You're going to be there Thursday night as
yeah.
well.
I'll be there Thursday. I've got I think we're in a first edition game on Thursday.
Oh, you are, yeah.
Um let me look at
There's
my
only one
schedule
game.
here.
Like the most you can
Is there
be in
only
is
one
one
game?
session on Thursday nights, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah.
so because I think it starts late. Yeah, AD&D first edition at 8 o'clock.
Who's running that?
Lord Gusumba.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
That's
that'll
Jay
be
Scott. Jay Scott. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
waiting
right.
to touch bases with him too. So
Yeah,
so
I'm
both.
planning on handing out some flyers and trying to get more people
Yeah,
involved.
yeah,
And Ron is all about it. I talked to him and he's willing to get he's okay with me handing out flyers and he's going to put some flyers out there. So
cool.
that'll be
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, yeah. I'm really
yeah,
excited. But but yeah, keep it on Page. Page is awesome. I'm really looking forward to it.
yeah,
Planning on spending a bunch of money on the at the flea market, and yeah, it's going to be great. So I can't
yeah.
wait for that. So we'll see
Sounds
how
awesome.
it goes. So
All right, you have a great
thanks for having
one.
me.
All right, and thanks for popping in, and everyone else. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I hopefully I get to see you all Sunday night at 8:30 Eastern time for an interview with Scott Legault for Rising Phoenix. Hopefully should be okay by then if I'm going to be occupied Monday or Tuesday instead. So you all have a great one. Take care.